Hello, I'm Yoko. I'm back with another one of these week one guides. I'm not a professional guide maker. I'm not doing this for PF. If this happens to end up in PF as any guides, don't blame me. So, let's just get this started. First thing is first, M12S P2 starts off with a big hitting raid wide. Does about 300k raw damage, so you're gonna need some good mitt and good shields. Arcadia Aflame is the raid-wide name. After the raid-wide, you're going to go to your intercardinals with your color partners. Just support DPS pairs or melee ranged pairs. It doesn't really matter, anything works as long as you're paired up. Essentially, this mech is... There's a lot of moving parts. First and foremost is that replication is a very common it's a very common mechanic name. It refers to a lot of things throughout the fight. This is the first one, and it's immediately it's going to spawn 4 clones that you will see if I play it. Now, as you can see in the cast bar, I'm going to bring your attention to the cast bar. Oh, ignore these lines and arrows. Let's look at this cast bar. So we have 4 different clones. They're each doing different things. 2 of them are doing Wing Scourge. Wing Scourge is just a front, back, or left-right conal from these clones. They will always be opposite of each other, and they will always do the same thing. So they're very narrow cones, so don't worry too much about them. Mighty Magic is a dark spread on the 2 closest people to the clone. And Top Tier Slam is a pair stack on the closest person to the clone. So I will show those all right now. You can see Cleaves going out, Top Tier Slam, and Magic. So let's look really quick. So it's kind of difficult to see, but this clone here at the Charlie, it did a spread on Jisoo, and it did a spread on Alice, because they were the 2 closest people. It also hits their partner. And that's fine, because we're going to need that. Since we can't determine which clone is doing what, we just put it on pairs, and we say, okay, if the mech hits people with the spread, it's fine. And then we also look over here. The alpha clone jumped on Death Snail and it jumped on Arturia. And all we have to do now is take a look at our debuffs. So first things first, let's look at the Dark Bones. We notice that Momo, we notice that Jisoo, we notice that Shinda, and we notice that Alice all have Dark Bones. What this means is they cannot take another Dark Magic spread, which is fine. And then if you look over here again, you notice that Death Snail and you notice that Arturia have Fire Bones, which means they cannot take another jump, a pair, a slam, whatever you want to call it. And of course, me and Saya do not have any debuffs, which means we are going to go take the Magic Balm. And the reason this is important is because, as you will see,
Snaking Madness North.
Snake and Kick, by the way, is a frontal cleave in front of the boss. And as you will see, the boss duplicated itself. So now there's going to be 2 clones that shoot out Mighty Magics, which are the dark spreads. There's going to be 2 clones that do the pairs, the slams. And there's going to be 4 clones that do the front, back, or left-right conals. So, let's just play it out and see what happens. And now that you see everything that happened, you can see that every single person has a Vaughn on them. Basically, what we're doing is just we're splitting up the assignments so that the people who have the Vaughns don't take the same Vaughns and die. But yeah, I'll put a diagram on screen to show how we break things down. Okay, let's talk about the diagram. This diagram shows every single possible pattern for the conals. And when we do this, we can see that the cardinals are safe for their range safe spots. And of course, the ranged are always going to be taking the outer clones. So this top right one, let me change the thickness. This top right one in this diagram is the mighty magic. So it's the two spreads on the closest people. This bottom left one is the pair. It's the jump down, the slam on the closest people. And so these are always paired like this. It'll always be one inner, one outer for each mech. So one inner for Mighty Magic, one outer for Mighty Magic. One inner for pair slam, one outer for pair slam. And the way we assign these things is pretty simple. I just have my team assign things by supports start A clockwise for the safe spot. So supports go like this to the first safe spot. That is the correct spot. And DPS go like this. They go with first counter safe spot. And this works for both melees and the ranged. And as you can see, inner is always safe, so use that inner to bias your melees towards the pair. Another thing to note is that we do orient these things based off the marker, but you don't really need to do that too much because, as you can see, these little squares on the arena, the direct center will be safe from the conals. And that's basically how the mech works. I'll just show it one more time, completely unimpeded.
Making
So it spawns the replications. Get into your pairs.
Sneaking madness.
Check your debuffs. Look behind. Take a look for your range or melee spots on the clone that you're looking for. And then go towards it. And that's it. It's a lot to take in, but once you get those reps down, it shouldn't be too big of a problem. I like the static position. I highly recommend it. If you don't want to do it, that's totally fine. But next mech is a Tank Buster. The Tank Buster is called Double Sobat. It is a double Tank Buster, as the name implies. And the biggest thing to note is that it does a frontal cleave on the tanks. And then you have to check again, because the boss can turn any direction, north, south, east, or west, from its initial position. And then do another cleave, like this. And then after it does that second cleave, tanks will need to go out, not too far, because this is based on first or second aggro. And they will get a small deformation on them, just like that. And those are busters, of course. So your buster should last, your tank mitts should last throughout all that. We're just going to take a look at the next, like, I don't know, minutes long, where it doesn't really do much.
Max melee, I just see Mappa just standing.
Yeah, no, I'm saying it as like a gentle encouragement. Hey, your tank sort of loved this like 10 hours ago, but all good.
Oh, I mean, you guys.
No, it's fine. At this point, we're cooked. Yo,
Okay, big thing to note here is that it just spawned clones around the arena. Not boss clones. No, no, no. This time it's going to be player clones, and they are going to tether to a player randomly. It always spawns starting from north as the 1, and it does 8 different clones. North and south always spawn as 1. Northeast and southwest spawn as 2. West and east spawn as 3, and northwest and southeast spawn as 4. That's how we like to divide them up. So I'm just going to play a little bit more so you can see what we're actually going to do with them. Another replication. Replication 2. More boss clones spawn. And there is a bunch of tethers around the arena. Okay, I'm going to stop it there. And we're going to look at what we actually want to do before we actually do stuff, because that makes more sense to me. Okay, so the very first thing that we're going to look at when it comes to this diagram is we're going to look at the top left of it. I'm going to show you right now. This one that I circled. And as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the reason these 1, 2, 3, 4s are important is because that is the order of which clones spawn, and as such, that is the mechanic, or that is the order in which their mechanics resolve once more. Because later, they will clone whatever tether they get, and whatever mechanic you get as a player. So you're orienting everything based on where your clone spawns. And one thing to note is that 2 and 4, right 2, and left 4 always get cone. Right 3 and left 3 always get stack. Right 4 and left 4 or left 2 always get defamation. And these are always static. Every single time you go to this, single time you get this particular clone spawn, 1, 2, 3, 4, starting on the right, or 1, 2, 3, 4 from the left, you will always get these mechanics in this order. Always pick it up in this mechanic so you can resolve your mechanic the same way every single time. Now, what do these actually do? Well, the defamations, the 2 and 4s, they do a defamation, which is a large AoE around the player. The person without the tether, because there are 7 tethers in total, including 1 from the boss, they go direct south to make space for another defamation. The person with the boss tether goes a little bit north and then shoots 4 Proteans at the 4 closest people, which will be the left and right cones and the left and right stacks. After that Protean goes off, we're going to see the stacks go off with conals go off. So let's just watch that in action really quickly. So first things first, you can see where I got tethered to, because I am in the northeast, so I am 2 rights, which means I will be grabbing the conal. The conal happens to spawn right on top of me, so I grab it immediately and I stay there. I wait for the cast bar called Firefall Splash, and then I start moving. I'm going to take a Protean right now. Bang, take the Protean.
light parties, Proteans, snaking zone.
And then I go to my light parties after taking that. After I take the Proteans, I go to my light party. I take my light party, and I also shoot my cone out of the arena so it doesn't clip anyone else, obviously. But then it also does a snaking kick. And that snaking kick is right here, diagram 478. So it just does a half room cleave, everyone goes to the other side. And then we're going to do almost everything all over again. This time, you're going to take a look and you're going to see that your clones get like a rewind on them. You have quite a bit of time here to make a recovery if you do need to. It's called a reenactment. You're just doing everything all over again, but this time they're coming from your clones. So during this initial reenactment where it's going to do the Proteans, it'll always do the Proteans on the same 4 people that got baited the first time, by the way. It will do a Netherrath far or a Netherrath close. What this means is Netherrath is just it's pairs basically on the 2 closest or on the 2 furthest people. So the 4 people that are not baiting the Proteans here need to take the Netherrath. So this is Netherrath far in the video. So we're gonna let that play out. Bang. And now that Netherrath went off, we are going to look at the diagram again. Scroll down, and we can see that it's going to shoot out a conal and the defamation. So we let that conal and defamation go off. Then we're going to move up to take the stacks that were on the people. But this time we're going to do it on the clones because that's where the people took the clones. And it does it around the clones. And then we're going to go back north to dodge the last conal and defamation. So you can see, bang, defamation goes off and the conal goes off, which means we move up. We take the 4-person stack, and then we move back. And that's the mechanic. So let's watch that all over again from the very, very start.
Yo, reclose.
We see replication. I already know what I'm going to get because I know I'm second on the right. I go and grab the cone. I wait for it to lock in. It's locked in because the color changed. I go to bait my Protean because I know I'm going to be baiting Protean. I go to my light party.
Proteans.
And I make sure to bait my cone out.
Snaking.
I get behind the snaking.
Alice, can we swap here so I'm closer to my group? Like, can I take
Sure.
this?
And starts reenactment. Everything happens all over again.
Okay. I'll do it.
It's Netherrath far, so it's baited far. Protean conal goes off. Number 1. Stacks go off. Protean conal, sorry, defamation conal goes off. Number 2. And the mechanic is done. One thing to note though is this reenactment on this person right here, the person who baited the initial Protean, the 4 Proteans that is, there is a Chariots from it, which means you gotta not be in its hitbox. Not the boss's hitbox, but the clone's hitbox. And that is why we are hugging the wall so much. You can see
Okay. I'll do it.
that there is a very faint, but you can see the circle right here. I'm circling it. So don't be in that, you'll die. But let's move on. The next mech is something that I like to call Superchain. And it's called mutating cells in actuality, but we all call it Superchain because that's basically what it is if you've ever done Athena. So, first thing to notice is that everyone gets a debuff. Everyone gets a debuff. Everyone gets a debuff. Now, these debuffs are light party based, which means you have 4 people with alpha debuff, 4 people with the beta debuff. Biggest thing to note, if you have an alpha, you must avoid getting hit or you fail the mechanic. If you are a beta, you must get hit by at least one thing. And if you do not get hit by one thing, you fail the mechanic. So, first things first, our tanks take a look. Death Snail has beta, which means he's getting autoed, which means he's fine. If Jisoo had beta and Death Snail had alpha, then Jisoo would need to Voke off. You will do this later because the debuffs do swap. So a lot of shapes will spawn around the arena. Biggest thing to note is that what you really have to be on the lookout for is that one side, on this case the left side, spawns these shapes closer to the orb, the silver orb, than the other side. So you can see here, this orange left right spawns closer, and this yellow, or sorry, not yellow, this green donut spawns closer. And so what we know with that information is that these shapes are on the other side as well. You can see down here is the green donut, and up here is the orange left right. So since the left side is closer, these things spawn closer, what we need to do is we need to look for these shapes on the other side and get in front of them to delay them. And you will see what I mean in just a second.
Slowing green red.
And you can see that my supports went up north, and they also had beta, which means they took their damage and they fulfilled their condition. And then my DPS went south to delay that shape, and they also had beta, so they fulfilled their condition.
I'm going over to 4D.
And since you know, us alphas didn't do anything and we avoided taking damage, we fulfilled our conditioner as well. And then our debuff swapped after that. One thing to note though is that you can see the shapes going in from the left side and the shapes also slowly moving in on the right side. You can think of this as 1, 2, 3 rather than the actual time that they go into. So you need to think of X and Y goes in first, Alpha Bravo goes in second, and then C and D goes in third. And these are just example shapes, right? And you have to mirror that on both sides. Basically, since all you really need to know for how to know which shape to go to is that whichever one the green is closest to, whichever one green goes in first, you go into that green. The reason for that is revealed right here.
Going over to 4D. Look for your new debuffs. Betas can already be south, alphas can be north.
And that's basically the mechanic. I don't know if I should explain much more because it's kind of really straightforward. If you see the closest shapes on one side, then just mirror those shapes on the other and delay them. Whichever side has Dynamo or the green donut first, you go to that one first. And then afterwards, it's going to do a Nether World. This is different from Nether Wrath. Nether World is a 4-person light party stack, and it's going to do near and far. Obviously, since I have beta, I'm going to go take the Nether World because I need to get hit to fulfill my condition.
Wings.
And it's going to do an Arcadia Flame, which is a big raid wide. Followed by a Tank Buster, And you can see that it turns towards us, so we have to get behind again, and tanks go out for their deformations.
You're welcome.
What the fuck?
Next up is Idyllic Dream. This is a big, heavy-hitting raid wide, so make sure to give it some mitt and respect. And I will pause right here to explain a little bit about this next mech, because this mech lasts literally 4 minutes long. And it's a memory mech, so have fun with that. So first things first with this mech, it's going to start out with staging yet again. And it will do 4 cardinal first or 4 intercardinal first, and then do the other, intercard or card, depending on what didn't get picked first. So in this case, it was cardinal first, which means the cardinals will be doing their mechanic first. Luckily, this part is actually quite easy. You just have to realize which one you're doing. So you're doing first or you're doing seconds. And I am intercardinal, so that means I'm doing my mechanics seconds. Now, another thing to know is how we split things up. We always do the first 4 people north clockwise as always getting stacks. And then the next 4 people starting from south clockwise as always getting deformations, because those are the 2 main mechanics for this particular staging. There's a lot of other things to do, but this is a memory mech. You have to remember this for later. So it's going to do a Twisted Vision, and in Twisted Vision, it's kind of like in an alternate dimension or whatever. You're kind of in like a dream palace. I don't really know how to explain it. I don't know the lore. I just raid. But it's also going to do a Replication, so this is Replication 3. Now, Replication 3 is something you have to remember. So these do not go off immediately, so you don't have to dodge these. They do go off a bit later. As you can see, the 3 marker down here is kind of safe. Left and right of it, there's a chariot, so you have to get far away. And the top area is not safe as well. So you have to remember what each of these clones do. The north one right now is doing left and right cleave. The middle one is doing a chariots, and the south one is doing a front-back cleave. So store those in your memory for later. Next up, he's going to spawn clones of himself. These can only be stacks or deformations. And I know that since I am south clockwise 4, that means I am getting the 4th deformation. Because, like I said again, we hard assign stacks to be north clockwise 1 to 4, and hard assign deformations to be 1 to 4 from south clockwise. So I am getting the 4th deformation from here. So after that, it's going to do that stored safe spot from earlier. As I said, left and right at 3 is safe as long as you're far out for the chariots. And then, if you've ever done Shiva, it's going to do kind of Shiva platforms things, but you'll be in range of each other. Just split up light parties. You can do true light parties here. Big raid wide with the meteor. Make sure to give it some healing and mitt. It's going to spawn 4 meteors on each platform, so 8 in total. As you can see, well, I'll let it play out for a bit longer, actually. All right. As you can see, this one has 3, this one has 3, this one has 1, this one has 1. This just dictates what mechanics you can get on this. So, fire is pyretic. For note, you can still use GCDs in pyretic. Just don't move around. Wind is a knock up, so you will get knocked across the arena if you are to take this wind tower. Earth is an aftershock / twister, whatever you want to call it, based on the location of the tower. And dark is a doom beam that grants a doom on whoever player it hits. These need to be Asuned. You can also see that my 4 DPS got hit by a holy mechanic. This just means they have light Vaughn. They cannot take these light towers later. And you can tell which tower is a light based on whether, it has a 1 or a 3 mechanic. All 3 mechs are considered light attribute, and if they take them and you have light Vaughn, you're gonna die. So, like the AoEs from earlier, these are stored and they're not used immediately. So, this next mechanic, remember those stuff you did earlier? These towers don't go off, so you don't have to be in them. But what instead happens is those deformations and stacks that went earlier. Basically what you need to do is you need to recognize whether, 1, deformations are going up first or stacks are going up first. And then you need to recognize whether or not you are the first deformation or the second deformation. Stacks can chill on your designated stack position the entire time. We chose north, south, so A and C. But the cadence is kind of like stack, deformations go out, they come back in, stack, deformations go out. Or if deformations are first, then it's deformations go out, boom, come back in, stack, deformations go out, boom, come back in, stack. In this case, it's stack first. You can see deformations go out. And then stack again. And since I'm second deformation, I go out. And then, remember those meteors we just talked about? You're going back into the meteor tower. Remember the spot that you swapped to. Like, not what I did. Good news is that if you miss a tower, all you do is get a bleed. But, we do need to take a look at the debuffs now. Because now that we have them, we can see what's going on. So, you can see we have 2 tethers that are blue, and these would be far. And then we should have 2 tethers that are close, which I would have gotten if I'd taken my tower, because towers are the things that give you the debuffs. This is also why you swap, because you get personal AoEs on yourself, and you would die if you took these personal AoEs and you had the Vaughn from earlier. So the correct way to do this is we have the people with far tethers, so it shoots to the furthest person away from them, very much like Wicked Thunder. We have them go north on each platform. And that way, we can have the people on south baiting those conals, because obviously it'll go like that. And like this. And then the close conals, we will have, I will draw them in black. And we can have, they will shoot out because there's going to be a person right here. So, Oh, and as you can see in the back left of each tower, wherever that earth was, that left an aftershock. You want to move away from that. It can be in the front as well.
Heather, get behind me, Art.
But you have this close one?
Okay, just get up.
Yeah, we're good, we're good.
Now, what's next is that I'm going to show you a diagram of how it's actually supposed to look like. All right, so this is the diagram. There's a lot going on, but this is a diagram of every single thing. So it starts out, with your clones spawning. It starts out with the fake safe spots. And then, as you can see, you have your Heaven's Fall towers. So first 4 north clockwise are stacks. First 4 south clockwise are defms. And then you just grab your respective one. If you're 1, then you grab the first stack and the first defm. And then it does the actual thing. And then here are your towers, it's storing your towers. This is your stacks and defamations. Then it's going back to your towers. And here is what we left off on. This is the general setup. So yeah, you have that far bait shooting down there. And you have that close bait shooting back because it's shooting a person behind it. So you want this general setup. And afterwards, the clones are going to move and they're going to stalk. And one of them will even move into a portal, which you have to remember for R later. And then after the stalk, it's going to be the defamations and the stacks that are on the player clones now. Then it's going to do the stalked left-right arena. There's going to be a safe spot. It's going to do the second set of player clone stacks and defas. And then the portal Kono. So let's just take a look at that. See, that portal is going out.
And he is safe.
And we can
are
see the
going
stock
to cards,
platforms.
Going to cards.
Edge away. Bravo. North, south, safe. You have to back up a little. North, south, safe.
He enters next. Enters.
This is an edge.
Edges.
North. East, west of clone. East, west of
East, west,
clone.
east, west, east, west, east, west, east, west.
I got him.
It's okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
using
shit.
And then it's another Idyllic Dream. A Tank Buster. And then all that's left is the Enrage sequence. This is Replication 4. It's not really a mechanic, it's just a lot of raid-wide damage. It does an Arcadion Hell that is cast along with the others. And then it clones itself again. It does another Arcadion Hell. And then it clones itself one more time, and this final one is Enrage. And that's the fight. Great. So, if you want to stop watching the video, you can. I hope I explained everything sufficiently. It's a lot of memory mechs at the end. I would highly recommend using Echo macros. But, otherwise, I am going to show the last half of the fight, because it's all in one mech, just uninterrupted.
Alright, lock in.
What is this thing? Did the little worm walk the very fabric of space and time?
So first thing first, figure out which one spawns first, and then figure out which one you are. Make sure to remember it for later.
South.
And then you're going to have these AoEs. Remember each spot. Get ready for the spawns.
Going south after this. South.
Get ready to move once your tether is locked in to the safe spots. Landworm Meteor, big raid-wide damage.
It will be stack first.
Look at your towers.
Stack first. Stack. Defa ready?
Stacks are defa first, then the opposite. In this case, it's stack first, then defa.
Stack. Defa ready?
Stack,
Defa out.
then defa.
Original towers.
Look for 1A.
Go back to your spots for the meteor towers.
Personals.
Go to the correct spot for the protean baits.
But you have this close one?
Okay, stop.
Yeah, we're good, we're good.
Start remembering the stocks for the portal and for the east or west island.
That had to be north south. And B is safe. We are going to cards,
Edge away.
Go to your player clones, dodge the deformations. We're going to be taking a stack and a deformation at the same time.
Save B.
Do the memory game
South safe.
on the platform.
B enters next. Enters.
Next set of defims and stacks.
North. East west of Plume. East west of
East,
Plume.
west.
I got him.
Nego did the portal. I died to it. Don't mind me. Haha.
Pots on the
And then it's just the Enrage sequence after the tank buster. There's not much more for me to say.
behind max melee. Logan LB1.
Close. On the second set, use your personals.
This is a 10-minute clip that I'm recording.
The multi-hit part, right?
Fun. I love this. I love this fight, you know? It's just literally half of it is one mechanic.
For both healers, and I'll get Alice.
But yeah.
All mid.
I do hope this helped. If it did, leave a comment, give it a like. I don't really care, truthfully, but like,
Manifesting, please manifest.
it kind of helps if I know what I can do to improve for next time, even though I don't really care that much, truthfully. I'm just yapping. Yeah, good job. Hope you get that clear. See you later. This has been Yoko from the end.